from Louisville, Kentucky. Wednesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live stream. How's it going out there? My son's going to be the moderator tonight. We're not going to be on Saturday night. I'm going to take a Saturday night off because I'm doing a record show with Kevin from Kevin Records. We're going to Asheville, North Carolina this weekend. Asheville, North Carolina record show on Sunday. Which Sunday is the...
Sunday the 3rd, so what would it be?
7th, 8th?
7th.
September 7th, we'll have a couple booths in Asheville, North Carolina. Maybe we'll run into Dylan from Noble Records there. About a 5-hour drive from here.
Polly said, hi, Sticker family, and everyone watching, give a like.
Thanks a lot, Polly.
Uncle Paul said, hello, Frank and Travis.
Uncle Paul, me and Mikey Arugula and you are going to be on a live stream together on Every Little Thing Beatles episode number 12 on September 10th. So looking forward to that.
Thomas Crook said hello, Travis and Frank.
How you doing, Thomas?
And everyone else. Patricia said hello, Sticker family. Hope all is well.
Thanks a lot, Patricia. Your photos from Hullabaloo are out in the mail. Couple notes. Steve Westman did a live stream interview with his second one with Andrew Milton from Polygram Auctions a few days ago, and it was mostly about anthology. But it was pretty interesting towards the end of the interview, the hour interview. Andrew Milton took a stack of these, of about 10 of these, into Abbey Road Studios last year, and he gave them away to all the executives at Abbey Road Studios as a hint that this needed a reissue. The Horzu Beatles Magical Mystery Tour from Germany.
Uncle Paul said, looking forward to it, showing my summer 2025 finds a week from tonight.
All right. We got some more photos coming from give me that book, the Connie Denavi collection from the camera shop. I'll be getting them tomorrow, and I'll do a 5-minute video on it in the next few days. But there's a lot of good photos. There's photos of the Rolling Stones on stage in 1964. There's photos of the Rolling Stones all making their Nanker, however you do the Nanker faces. They're all doing it at the same time. There's photos of Andy Warhol and Jimmy Page together. And I'm pretty sure I got some photos of a lot of Rolling Stones when they were in the airport when they first came to America, and press conferences, and so it'll be pretty cool. I think I have like 60 photos coming tomorrow. I picked out the best ones. Couple other notes. On August 15th, a man went into the Jacaranda Club in Liverpool, and he thought in the early morning he was stealing a signed Paul McCartney letter that was worth $35,000, but all he did steal was a copy of it. And there's a video on I saw on the internet today of showing him pulling the photo off of the wall and just kind of hiding it and to get it out of there. The Paul McCartney Man on the Run documentary was played a little while ago at the Telluride Film Festival, and it's going to be on stream before long on Amazon Prime. The John Lennon suit that he wore on stage, the Millings stage suit from 1963 sold a month ago for $102,000 for a suit. $102,000. And another interesting thing I pulled up, the Shea Stadium, when the Beatles played there on August 15th, 1965, before 55,000 people, their take was $180,000, which in today's money would have been a lot of money. And Brian Epstein made a quote, "I know about hit songs, I know about hit numbers." That was a quote from Brian before he managed the Beatles. He is the man who turned the Beatles into superstars, him and George Martin. What do you think about that? And there's also on Reddit, that's a new big thing. Somebody that invented Reddit made a ton of money. That's what it's called, isn't it? Mm-hmm. There's a picture of John Lennon from early 1969 scaling the wall of Paul McCartney's canvas house. He has a big wall to keep people out, and it shows a picture of John Lennon scaling it and barging into Paul's house during the Get Back sessions there in January of 1969. So the Get Back documentary wasn't all getting along. That day, John Lennon was pretty pissed off at Paul McCartney for him to scale the wall. And it looks like Yoko is egging him on to scale the wall. Of course. That is a pretty cool picture. You should check it out. A couple things on Spotify. The #1 song is Tears by Sabrina Carpenter. And she almost is like dominating the charts like the Beatles did in April of 1964. She has #1, #3, #4, #5, #7, and #8, #9, and #10 on the Spotify charts, all from her new album. She's giving Taylor Swift a run for her money.
Uncle Paul says go Sabrina.
Sabrina is hot. The only song that's able to stay in there between all those is Golden from the K-pop Demon Hunters and Back to Friends from Sombra. Everything else is Sabrina at the moment. On the Billboard Top 100, #1 is Golden by the K-pop Demon Hunters. #6 is a song I like a lot, Love Me Not by Ravine Lene. And Pink Pony Club by Chappell Roan is back into the top 20. On the UK charts, the album that's #1 is the Stray Kids, Karma, the 4th album. I'm not aware who the Stray Kids are. K-pop's #2. And on the single charts, Golden's #1, Subway from Chappell's #5, and that was the U.S. charts was the Stray Kids was #1 on the U.S. album charts. In the U.K., it's Wolf Alice, The Clearing, and Chappell Roan's all the way back up to #9 in the U.K. on the album charts with The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess. All right, let's show what's on the table. Somebody is interested that's usually in my chat buying this, and I told him it was $85 shipped. Give me that scrapbook behind me. So I got the scrapbook in today from 1964, 65, 66 in the Los Angeles area, and everything in it was loose. So I got a lot of good ads with no tape marks or anything. This is the only ad for the Beatles Hollywood Bowl 1965, August 29th and 30th by Bob Eubanks. Because that's the only thing he thought that he only needed to put out one ad and it sold out right away, both shows. So that's a pretty rare ad from May 5th, 1965 in Los Angeles Times. They're back.
Caesar says, hello, Frank and family.
How you doing, Caesar? They're back. It doesn't even say the Beatles. Hollywood Bowl, August 29th and 30th. presented by KRLA and Bob Eubanks. Other things I got out of that scrapbook. Got all these ads for Beatles memorabilia in the 64 and Sears. The Beatles hat was 99 cents. The Beatles t-shirt was $1.88. The Beatles portraits, the sealed package was 99, and the great big framed of the oil portrait was only 58 cents in 1964 at Sears.
Brad Parnell said Sticker granddaughter sold him a couple Powerball tickets. Yeah, David sadly was not a billion, or was not the winner.
Uh-oh. And there's an ad from Broadway in San Diego for the Beatles sweatshirt. It was $3.98 to $4.98. The girls' sizes were $3.98, teen girls was $3.98, boys was $3.98, and men's sizes, university, was $4.98. The Beatles sweatshirt. Johnny Carson showed this on the Tonight Show, that sweatshirt, 3 days before the Beatles came to America. He was kind of making fun of them, but then he was also a little bit serious because the audience knew the Beatles were coming. And these are all ads for Beatle records in 1964. Sears, towards the end of the year, they had all the mono albums on sale for $1.99, and the stereo was $2.99. You got the Hard Day's Night, Something New. You even have a VJ record in here of Song, Pictures, and Stories, Meet the Beatles, Hollywood Strings, and the Beatles' second album. All roads lead to Sears, Southern California stores. There's an ad for the Beatles 65. It says Beatles 65, but on the bottom of the ad it says Beatles 64 because it really came out in the Christmas of 64. Make sure your Beatles collection is up to date. You'll find the Beatles wherever records are sold. Great hits by John, Paul, George, and Ringo.
Let me see it real quick. I got a comic on the other side. I just want to see what comic it is.
And there is late 1965, what I talked about on the last stream, Rubber Soul. It was on sale. It was rushed out for the Christmas season on December 3rd. And it was $227 for the mono and $287 for the stereo. Even has all the tracks listed. It's amazing how they knew the tracks and everything to get this ad printed in time. It kind of leads to what I talked about last time. Those tracks were programmed way in advance. I've just seen a face. Well, this is the USA pressing. I've just seen a face was the first track. Order by mail. There's an ad from late 1964. Now authentic Beatles wig at Zodi's, $1.97. And you got to get the I Want to Hold Your Hand picture sleeve, and record was only 57 cents. But they had many boxes of those to sell as quick as they could open them up. Trading cards. All these trading cards, wrappers were loose in that scrapbook today. You got about 10 of each. The color photos, all in perfect shape. The Beatles, the black and white series of bubblegum. And the Beatles movie, A Hard Day's Night. They were originally 5 cents for a pack of, I think there were 4 cards and a piece of bubble gum in each one. Mikey Arugula's got a whole sealed box of this one here, the colored photos. And there's the first ad. Show me that one second edition book by Terry Crane behind it. I had it open to the right page.
Oh, my fault. I thought I did that when I pulled the book. That was my fault.
Trading cards.
Right there.
I have a picture of that same photo.
Yeah, you got it. Sorry, y'all.
There it is. So this photo in Terry Crane's book is the first time that Beatle trading cards were ever in a newspaper photo. Newspaper from Los Angeles, 1964. That's the same photo that Terry Crane got a hold of from a Los Angeles negative he must have got from a Los Angeles newspaper. Says Beetle bubblegum cards, KOs, baseball cards.
Yeah, it says Los Angeles Times Photographs Collection.
So that's where it came from, but I got that out of the scrapbook today. So that's pretty cool.
Everybody give him a like for his hard work, please. Keep it up.
I got some other things from the got this ad for the Beatles Washington D.C. Closed circuit TV Washington D.C. show where the Beach Boys and Leslie Gore opened up for the Beatles on that circuit. That show, they didn't really open for the Beatles at that Washington D.C., but they showed video of the Beach Boys and Leslie Gore before the Beatles came out on that big screen. Was on a Saturday. I don't remember going to that when I was young. Maybe Mikey Arugula went to it. Got some San Diego and some Beatle cartoons out of that collection today. Here is a full-page ad for the Beatles in America, which became the Beatles' first visit, or the Beatles 64 documentary later on, recently. But this was the very first time this was shown in late 1964 with Carol Burnett as the host. That's a full-page ad for it. Or not full-page, but the largest ad I've ever seen for it. There's an ad for the movie Jerry and the Pacemakers Ferry Across the Mersey. And there's a large ad for the Beatles, A Hard Day's Night. Yeah, 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 bashingly zany. Includes 6 brand new songs never heard before heard. Then I got some San Diego somewhere. San Diego, right here.
I got it. Okay, what's behind this? Something newspaper thing.
I got the cartoons show. So this was
T-shirt Express says, "Good evening, everybody. How's it going, Paulie?"
How you doing, Paulie? This was a ad I found in the scrapbook loose where they advertise Vandekamp bakeries, coffee shops, and frozen foods. We have Vandekamp frozen fish now. But they advertise, they must have bakery shops at the time. They advertise a Beatles cake. Here's the cake that can't be beat. Vandekamp's luscious 2-layer white cake with buttercream filling and covered with smooth chocolate icing surrounding a cute Beatle face. Just the thing for your Beatles party. It was $2.49. Salute the Beatles cake. There's ads for this was in a Beatles TV guide to promote the Beatles cartoon show, cartoon series.
Yeah, I used to love that show.
Saturday mornings, it says what time it's on here. 10:30 a.m. Saturday on ABC.
Ivan Music Man says, "Hello from Norway."
How you doing, Ivan? How's it going? It must be late there at night. What time is it there at night? And then San Diego, here's the ad for the Beatles at the, how do you say that? Balboa?
Balboa is what
Balboa Stadium.
That's That's what it looks like.
1965, August 28th, the day before they played the Hollywood Bowl. Tickets were $5.50, $4.50, and $3.50. And these are newspaper ads from San Diego newspapers. KFWB, first to bring the Beatles to Southern California.
Danny Goldstein said, "This is very cool stuff."
There's another ad that says, the Cannibal and the Headhunters, Brenda Holloway, King Curtis Band, Sounds Incorporated, and the Disco Dancers opened for the Beatles. They were the same groups that opened at the Shea Stadium show. And there's one more ad where it says, follow the Beatles on KFWB's exclusive Beatle line. See, the Beatles only played a few cities on that 65 tour. New York, Toronto, Atlanta, Houston, Chicago, Minneapolis, Portland, San Diego, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. And we got some Shea Stadium's memorabilia in to show. I got this, won this in a heritage auction. That's the COA. So from this is an original piece off of one of those chairs like I got there. The iron seat bracket from Shea Stadium when the Beatles played August 15th of 1965. And here's the railing, piece of orange railing from the field level seating section from August 15th, 1965. Comes with all the COAs.
Caesar says, "Hi Frank, I want the Beatles Hollywood Bowl ad. Where do I send you the $85?"
Get a hold of me through my, I guess, Greg, you missed out on this one. Get a hold of me at Mr_StickerMania@yahoo.com, Caesar, and I'll send you my PayPal address.
Patricia wants to know, are those newspaper ads sold as a group or separately, or what are you doing with everything?
What are you interested in? We've already got the Hollywood Bowls already sold.
You just have to reach out to anything that you're interested in, and
I made a bunch of drafts, but I haven't put them up on eBay yet. But I'll give you a discount buying it before I put it on eBay. If you're interested in the San Diego or the all the different ones that I showed. All right. What's some other things? Got all these. We're in the scrapbook today.
he said, "Sounds good, I'll send you an email." And then Jeremy was talking about all the local radio California stations, I guess in '64 that were in the different ads things.
Yeah. I got all these KAFY radio surveys from Bakersfield, California from 1964. June 26th, I Get Around by the Beach Boys was number one.
She likes the cake ad.
Cake
the one
ad.
that had the cake ad.
Yeah, I'll figure that out for you. So Little Beatles Corner wants the cake ad. Let me know if you want something else to go with that. Back to this KAFY on August 7th, House of the Rising Sun was number one. Beatles were farther down. Hard Day's Night was number 5. When I Get Around was number 1. World Without Love was number 4 by Peter and Gordon. On July 31st, Everybody Loves Somebody by Dean Martin was number 1. And the Beatles, A Hard Day's Night was number 5. This is October of 1964. And the number 1 song was Do Wah Diddy by Manfred Mann. They even put they got the radio DJ's pictures here on the front, but Bob Wilson thought it was going to be cute, and he put Ringo Starr's picture for Bob Wilson. This is a survey from December 12th of 1964, and guess what's number one? I Feel Fine. Right towards the end of the year, the Beatles had the Christmas number one with I Feel Fine.
That's 7 up on the back of it.
And the last one is December 19th, I Feel Fine was still number one. You got an ad for
7 Up, that's old.
7 Up, yeah. One of these has an ad for Paul Revere and the Raiders on the back. And one other thing I got out of this scrapbook today, I got all these California magazines were all in complete condition. KRLA Beat from April of 1965. You got Casey Kasem down there when he had that TV show. And their top 10 at the time, Gloria was number 1. 8 Days a Week was number 10. More Beatle answers. Derek Taylor interviewed John Lennon, and there's a bunch of funny things in there about, but I imagine that Derek Taylor ghosted those answers and John Lennon probably didn't even answer them. June 7th, 1965, KEWB, full music issue. It says, 2 Beatles shows loom. And they got a picture of the cow pallet. They got the Wax Museum figures of the Beatles there on the cover. They got Tom Jones on the back. There's a couple good pictures of the Beatles, the latest Beatles information. I always think if you read these articles, you get the real true information on how it happened when the news is current. KEWB, Herman is here. All about how Peter Noon and Herman Hermits were taking over the charts at the time. Look how they got the number 1 song. They said, Can't Get No Satisfaction. They left out the I. Can't get no satisfaction. And then there's a couple all on the Beatles here. Beatles are National Blast Weekly. It was 25 cents back there. This is all about the Help. Beatles bounce back, burying boredom. Full page ad for Help there on the back. And they got an autograph photo of the Beatles from Help in here, I think. And there must have been another one. Not this one. Help was the number 1 song on the top 100 there. It even shows the Beatle hotels that they stayed at. And the last one, KRLA from September 1965, the Beatles in person now. So that's a picture of the Beatles at the Hollywood Bowl. That would go good with that ad that you want at $85. Beatles in person now. Let's see what's in this one. Got a picture of Ringo from the Help movie. There's that autograph. We've got you back again. To the Beatles, to the beat from the Beatles. I think that Rockaway had the original photo of that, all signed by all 4 Beatles. I think it was worth, can't remember, but worth a lot of money.
Brad Barnell said lots of British bands made movies like Hard Day's Night and Ferry Cross the Mussey. Here's a trivia question for you. Which band was in the movie The Ghost Goes Gear from 1966?
The Ghost Goes Gear. My guess is the Beach Boys. What's the answer?
And then Astros, Jay, I guess. Some interesting stuff. Great meeting you and the family at the fest. You even joked that I could not bid at the auctions.
Oh, did I?
All the best to you.
All right. Did you bid at the auction? Yeah, I got those Funko Pops a lot cheaper than Thomas Crook said. There was a lot of people who were wanting to bid on that, and they saw I was bidding on it, and they just gave up. But I got that too cheap.
Brad Parnell said the Spencer Davis Group.
Spencer Davis Group. So that must have been from about 67 or
He said
68.
66.
You know, oh, really?
Yeah.
They were in several movies, the Spencer Davis Group. Who was the young lead singer of the Spencer Davis Group? What was his name? He had a #1 hit with Spencer Davis when he was only 16 years old. Got a few other things in. Got Abbey Road, UK first pressing. -2, -1. But it's not tube cut because that's when Solid State started. It's in excellent condition. Stevie Winwood.
Oh, Stevie, yeah, this one he changed it to, or the Astro changed it to Stevie, yeah.
Stevie Winwood was the lead singer of the Spencer Davis Group.
And yes, Mikey is doing better, so he will be joining us next week with Uncle Paul on a live stream.
Mikey's on vacation.
Yeah.
So that's an excellent condition Abbey Road. It doesn't have the misaligned apple. It's got a laminated cover. It's the way you want to hear Abbey Road. I would sell that for $100 shipped. -2, -1. 1969 with a dark green apple. It's got the 1969 patent inner sleeve.
Thomas Crook said, yeah, you did a great job bidding, Frank.
Huh.
And Astro Gia said, yes, I did bid, but you and the Mexican collectors had me beat that Friday night. Yeah, they were buying up a lot.
Yeah, we were at the Friday night. The promoter, Mark Lapidus, was selling us some of his private collection. I think I bought 3 things at that auction.
Because you got the mat.
I got the mat, I got the
Funko things.
And I thought there was one other thing, but that might have just been those 2. And then the Mexican guys were right next to me, and they bought several things too. And then the Two Legs guys were at the back of the room, and they bought a lot of Paul McCartney limited prints that day. Almost every one of them bought one item. And Mazzy was at that auction, but he didn't buy anything. But he bought that John Lennon jacket from Yoko on the next day at the main auction in the ballroom. I only bought one thing, that Sgt. Pepper. I don't know if it's over here. I only bought one thing in the main auction in the ballroom, and that was this 1978 promo poster of the original
It needs to be slanted down
Beatles Sgt.
so
Pepper.
they can see the top. Yeah, there you go.
So this was in the scrapbook today also. I've seen this before, but I don't think I've ever seen it in this good a condition. Evolution of the Big Sound. I don't know where this would have been available, but it's a big poster. And it starts off at the bottom and goes up. It's got Jimmy Rogers, Sister Callie, marching bands, and ragtime at the beginning, there, and then it goes up to jazz, rhythm and blues, Fats Domino, Chuck Berry, Roger Miller, Elvis, Chubby Checker, Cool Jazz, 1950, and then it goes all the way to 65, where the Beatles are on top, with the Everly Brothers is underneath them, and over here on the, it says that the Beatles brought in the Dave Clark Five, the Rolling Stones, the Supremes, the Righteous Brothers, and the Beach Boys were following the Beatles to the evolution of the sound. That's a pretty cool poster. That had to be a poster from 1965.
Astro said the only ones missing from the fest were Joe Mayo and Arugula, and they said that is such a great poster. And then Greg Field said, hey Frank, hey Travis, late to the sticker party. I was driving, I hear I lost the Hollywood Bull ad. Oh well, bummer.
Yep, the Hollywood Bowl ad is sold at $85. Where did I put it at?
I thought you put it up.
There is the Hollywood Bowl ad one more time.
Caesar bought it.
Caesar bought it. They're back. Hollywood Bowl, August 29th and 30th, presented by KRLA and Bob Eubanks. The only ad that was ever put out to promote the Hollywood Bowl show. Came out on May 5th, 1965, a couple of months before the shows, and the shows were sold out within a week.
California traffic can't be beat. That's what Greg said, I agree. That's why I don't want to live there. Astro said Frank and Paul.
Yeah, there's one place that's just as bad as California traffic now, and it's 2 hours south of me. Trivia question, what big city am I talking about where the traffic is terrible now?
Frank, any Paul and Wings pickups recently or from the fest?
No, I don't usually focus on that too much. I got the Wings Over America program.
And then, yeah, Uncle Paul was missing from the fest as well. And then Brad Parnell, that was before Bob Eubanks got famous hosting the Newlywed Game.
Yep. Bob Eubanks had to go to the bank and he had to mortgage his house to bring the Beatles to Los Angeles. But he made a lot of money on his investment. That's the only Paul McCartney things I have in the room right now. That's original 1976.
Brad said Nashville's more like 3 hours.
Well, okay. But Nashville is a city that's as bad traffic now as LA. If you get into Nashville during the afternoon business hours, you can forget it. It's like a parking lot on their interstates. You don't want to go through Nashville through rush time. Wings Over America 1964 tour program. This is a show that I saw Paul McCartney and Wings in 1976 at the Chicago Stadium. Paul McCartney was at his peak. Denny Lane, Jimmy McCullough, Linda McCartney, and Joe English. There's my two left I have of the Paul McCartney from the BBC Gramophone Library. I have a Band on the Run left. I've sold all my other pressings from the UK. Band on the Run, it's a -2, -2. Something about those early 70s pressings from the United Kingdom that can't be beat. The best audiophile pressings ever of solo Beatles albums. There's the BBC Gramophone Library of McCartney 2 from 1980. And it's even got the sticker for the on that says BBC Gramophone Library sticker on the label on side 1. So on the Band on the Run, it was checked out about 10 times, but the McCartney 2 was only checked out 4 times.
Frank said thanks to Bob Eubanks and his 10,000 mortgage to get the Beatles to play.
Yep. And then he became famous on, what did he become famous besides the Newlywed Game? I think he was on a few other game shows. All right, show that, butcher covers. If I don't sell my butcher cover on eBay, my STICKERMANIA 2853 store by this Saturday. It's going to Asheville, North Carolina to the record show, and I'll sell it there. I sent out an offer of $1,800 on this on my STICKERMANIA 2853 eBay store. It's a Scranton number 2. Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Dr. Rick says, hello, Sticker Man.
How you doing, Dr. Rick?
Astro said, how much for the Wings of America, Over America program?
The program, it's not going to go on a regular album box. It'd have to be $75 ship. That's the trunk slick I took off the
That's the
email through my YouTube channel, Mr_StickerMania at yahoo.com.
Appreciate y'all.
That's a trunk slick I took off of that. And my second state is still available, but it could be sold here at any moment for $2,500. Second state and the shrink. Mono East Coast, number 3. No, yes, Mikey Arugula, I never had the nerve to take the shrink off and peel this one. Maybe in my younger years I would have had that nerve, but I don't think I have the nerve to do that anymore. Mikey Arugula will be sending out, you'll be coming back from your vacation, we'll be sending out all your banner there from the show and all your stuff from the Beatles playing the Paramount, the last Beatles show and the tour of America 1964. It was a charity show and a lot of tickets were sold for $50 to $100. All right, Beatles for sale.
Appreciate it, Greg. Hopefully you're having a great night, bud. I've had a long day, so I'm just trying to survive to finish it
Here's
up.
one more article out of that scrapbook. It's pretty interesting. These 4 girls paid this helicopter to rent a helicopter for $100, and they went to try to see the Beatles at their canyon home where they stayed for 5 days. But they said they rented with $100 savings in a vain attempt to drop in on the Beatles canyon hideaway. They couldn't get close to the home because of the airspace. So I don't even know if they saw the Beatles at all for their $100 spent. But there they are before they took their helicopter ride. It said, girls hire copter, still miss Beatles. They got within 2,000 feet of the Beatles. So I'm sure that that was pretty scary. They weren't going to let that helicopter get too close. But it's a pretty interesting story, how fanatic the girls were back then. How old were these girls? It doesn't say their ages, but they rented it for $100. Here it is. Kay was 17. Paula was 17. Sue was 18. And Mickey was 17. So they're all 17 and 18, and they put $100 together to rent a helicopter in 1964 to try to see the Beatles.
26 watching and 8 likes. Come on, y'all, give them a like.
Where are we at on time?
9:13.
9:13.
Yes.
About 5 more minutes. We're gonna show those photos. I won't be on Saturday night because I'm going out of town to the Asheville, North Carolina record show. So if you're going to be at that record show, come and say hi to me, Kevin from Kevin Records. Me and him will be having booths there. And I'll have my butcher cover and a few other things there. Saturday, what did we say, September, was it 7th?
Yeah, the 7th.
Sunday. The 7th?
Yeah.
Beatles for sale.
That's what Greg just said. Beatles for sale, tube cut -1-1 from Perry Cox. Here tomorrow. Yes.
That's what this is, a -1 tube cut. Did Perry Cox just sell one, or has he got one up for sale? That puppet, I told Mikey Arugula about that Beatles puppet that went real cheap of Ringo for $250. It was in the candy box in 1964. It went for $250 right away. You had to buy it now on eBay, and now somebody has one up for sale for $1,100.
Wow.
I got my Can't Buy Me Love picture sleeve is up there on my STICKERMANIA 2853 eBay store. Interested in that? Check that out. Near mint picture sleeve of Can't Buy Me Love is on my.
So yeah, Greg must have bought one from Perry Cox. It's on his way to California. And then Asher said, Frank, do you ever sell any of those Bruce Spicer original series books that are out of print?
Yeah, I've sold the many times the Capitol and the BJ records. Those are the two that have the most value. The Beatles on VJ Records and the Beatles on Capitol Records, Volume 1 and Volume 2. This is a later book. I just use this for reference. Beatles for Sale, Parlophone, on Parlophone Records, and this is the Ford by Tony Bramwell, where he says it's his hand on the Beatles for Sale, but Dave from Local told me that he thinks it's a foliage also because of the picture where it shows all the foliage in front of the Beetle.
Yeah.
All right. Talked about the scrapbook.
Was there anything else you were needing to talk about you weren't thinking of?
Talked about the Mazzy book a couple times.
Brandon Parnell said, I got to meet Tony Bramwell at Abbey Road on the River several years ago.
All right. You saw him at the right time. He's not with us no more. That's the Heritage Auctions where they put those two items up for sale that I won. What did we do? They're back there behind.
Yeah, you don't need them, do you?
Yeah, I'll just show them one more time.
All right.
So this is the auction. They had the netting and things from the Shea Stadium, and they went pretty cheap also, so I should have bid on those also. But that's a railing from Shea Stadium that was there in '65 when the Beatles played for the field level, and that's the iron bracket of one of the seats in the field level.
Astro said, I would have loved to have Mazzy sign the book at the fest last month.
It is signed.
No,
Norman Maslow.
that's where
Somebody else wanted.
she would have, or he, or whoever that person is, would have liked to have one signed too.
This is up on my. I'd sell this for $80 shipped. If you want this Norman Maslow signed Beatles England, reach out to me. Sell this $80 shipped. Mr_StickerMania at yahoo.com. This is a hardback book, and it's signed by Norman Maslow right there. If you're interested, reach out. Got this from straight from Mazzy. You see, there's a video of me and Mazzy doing a short, and then on my live stream from Chicago Beatle Fest, Mazzy showed up for the last 5 minutes. All right, I think I've shown everything for now. We'll do a 5-minute video probably tomorrow of these new photos I got coming from the Connie DeNavi collection. It's behind that book. Connie DeNavi collection. I'll do a 5-minute video, but we will not be on Saturday night because I'll be out of town. The next live stream I do will be Wednesday, September 10th. With Uncle Paul's Beatles Pop Playhouse and Mikey Arugula. It should be a barn burner, so check us out next Wednesday, September 10th, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Hold on, we're putting to make sure there's nothing before we head out. Prices, Capability is a good read. Someone's wanting to know what the Shea Stadium says worth.
This?
Yeah.
I would sell it for $150 shipped for both of these with the COAs. COA from says that this item was in use at Shea Stadium at some point during the year's operation from 1964 to 2008. And there's a COA from Heritage Auctions for the 2 pieces. And there's a COA from Fab Collectibles. So it comes with 3 COAs.
Brad said, careful with those barn burners. You don't want to get arrested for arson.
Nope.
And
you're right, Brad. Thanks.
Danny Goldstein just said, any more Led Zeppelin coming?
Led Zeppelin, no more coming at the moment. The Led Zeppelin 2s are getting almost impossible to find anything that's in excellent condition on the RL Hot Mix. They're all pretty well worn when you see them on the internet. People are holding on to their excellent condition pressings of Led Zeppelin 2 from either Monarch or Presswell. And
Patricia said, have a good Saturday, or have fun Saturday.
And then the Led Zeppelin 1 with a turquoise from 1969 in England with the red plum label. Yep, thanks. So we should have a good time in Asheville. I've never done it. It's supposed to be a big record show, and there'll be a lot of high-end dealers there. So maybe I'll get some good Beatles stuff there in Asheville. So thanks a lot from Louisville, Kentucky, and be careful, everybody. See ya.